Okay, so we're back at it. I apologize. I was running out of time on the other screencast. So let's just start over with example 5 where we left off. And I'll take my time and go through each step for this one, and then we'll do example 4. And hopefully everyone will get a better understanding of how we graph parabolas. So let's look at example 5 again, where we have a y squared plus 1, y plus 1 to be squared equals 16x. First of all, whenever I'm working this one, I check to see that it's in standard form, and it is in standard form to begin with. It's in standard form because I have my y term that's squared on one side set to equal to 16x. Alright, this parabola is going to open to the right because your 16 is positive. This one is positive, so it's going to open to the right. It's going to be that C-shaped parabola. Then I find my vertex. Remember, your vertex is h comma k. Your h is over here with the x, and your k is with the y. So your vertex for this one is 0, comma, negative 1. My star is going to go above the x because it's the term that's not squared. So my star is above the x. The next thing I need to do is find p. So I'm going to set 4p equals 16. Divide both sides by 4. Of course, p is equal to 4. So to find the focus and directrix, remember I add p to find my focus, subtract p to find my directrix. So your focus is a point. So I'll be adding 4 to 0. So 0 plus 4 gives 4, comma, negative 1. And then I'll be subtracting 4 to find my directrix, and it is with the x, so 0 minus 4 is negative 4, and it is written as x equals negative 4. So I'm going to plot these three things on my graph before I do my table of values. So my vertex is 0, negative 1. 0, negative 1 is here. Again, I'm making that dot a little bit larger to show that it is my vertex. My focus will be at 4, negative 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, negative 1 is here. That's my focus. Make it a little dot. My directrix will be x equals negative 4. So I go back 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's going to be a vertical line this time. Remember, x equals a number is a vertical line. So now I'm ready to do my table of values. For my table of values this time, since my y term comes first, my y term is squared, I'm going to give y some values. And I'm looking on my y-axis to determine what values I'm going to choose for y. So if I'm looking at my y-axis here, so you're looking at that one, I want to choose a point on either side of my vertex, a y value. So since my vertex is at negative 1, I'm going to choose, let's go with, if I move up 3 places, that's at a positive 2. So if I move up 3 places, 1, 2, 3 is here. So I'm going to choose for y equals 3. I'm sorry, that's at 2. And then if I move down 3 places, 1, 2, 3, I'll be here. And that's at y equals negative 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I'm going to plug those values into my equation to solve. So I'm going to pull up a side sheet so that we can see how to solve for that one, if I can. I'm not going to be able to. I'm going to have to do it on the whiteboard to the side. So I'm going to plug it in here and solve for y. So I'll have my equation, 2 plus 1 to be squared equals 16x. 2 plus 1, of course, is 3. 3 squared is 9. So I have 9 equals 16x. And then I divide both sides by 16. So 9 divided by 16 gives me 0.6. So 0.6 equals x. So right here, that's 0.6. If I were to do the same thing for negative 4, I would have negative 4 plus 1 to be squared equals 16x. Notice how negative 4 plus 1 gives you 3, and then 3 squared is going to give you the same thing. So you'll still have 9 equals 16x, which is the same equation. So that's going to give me 0.6. That's why I choose the same values that are the same distance from my vertex, so I only really have to evaluate it once. So now I'm ready to plot those points. So point 6 is just over just a little bit and up to 1, 2 is about here. And then 0.6 and then down negative 1, 2, 3, 4 is about here. So I have kind of a wide parabola. So that's the graph of example 5. Pause the video if you need to write it down or look over it. See if you can ask questions of your classmates or of the sub if they can answer. Now let's look at example 4. We'll go back to that one where we are graphing a parabola again. This is our fifth example actually. So I have y squared is equal to negative 4x. It looks to be in standard form. All of my y terms are on one side, my x term is on the other side, but I have a negative sign this time in front of my x. So with my y coming first, it's either going to open to the right or to the left. Since it's negative, this parabola is going to open to the left. It's going to be that backward C-shaped parabola, like that, backward C-shape. So now, first things first, after I know how it opens, I'm going to go ahead and plot my vertex. There is no h and k, so my vertex is at 0, 0. My y term is squared, so I'm going to put a star above my x. I put a star above the term that is not squared. The next thing I do is find p. So I'm going to set 4p equals to negative 4. Divide both sides by 4. P is equal to negative 1. So again, here I am going to add p, remember, and subtract p. So when I add p, 0 plus negative 1, of course that's negative 1 comma 0 for my focus. When I subtract p, 0 minus a negative 1 becomes a positive 1. So x equals a positive 1 because it's 0 minus negative 1. That's how we get that positive 1 right there. All right, so I have my vertex, my focus, and my directrix. Now we're going to plot that and do our table of values and graph our parabola. So 0, 0 is here in the middle of the graph. I make it a little bit larger so that I know that is my vertex, that my parabola has to go through it. My focus will be at negative 1, 0. So negative 1, 0 is this little dot right there. My directrix is at x equals 1, which will be a vertical dashed line there. Now I need to do my table of values. Again, since my y comes first, I'm going to give y some values. And I want to choose some on both sides of my vertex in the y direction. So if my favorite number is 3, I'm just going to move up 3. 1, 2, 3 here. That's going to be a positive 3. And then down 3, a negative 3. And when I want to choose the same distance so that I only have to evaluate it once. So I'm going to plug in 3, and I'm going to use this as my little scratch area over here. So I have y squared equals negative 4x. If I evaluate it for 3, 3 squared equals negative 4x. 3 squared is 9. 9 equals negative 4x. So if I divide both sides by 9, 9 divided by negative 4 is negative 2.3. So negative 2.3 equals x. Negative 2.3. If I plug in a negative 3, negative 3 squared is also going to give me 9, so I don't need to do it again. That's also going to be a negative 2.3. I'm going to plot those 2 points. Negative 2.3 is over a little bit, and then I'm going to go up 3, which is about here. Negative 2.3, and then I'm going to go down 3, negative 1, 2, 3, which is about here. And then I'm going to connect with my smooth curve, make sure it goes through my vertex and not my focus. And that's the graph of example 4. Okay, so we have done example 1 with the PowerPoint, And then 2, 4, and 5, that's 4 examples of the 4 different types of parabolas that you'll see. You should be able to follow along with the video, or even play it again if you need to, or rewind it some if you need to go back through the examples so you can work through the 8 parabolas on the back of this sheet in class. Okay? Hopefully everyone will be able to get that done and be ready for equations of parabolas on tomorrow.